everyone, welcome back to another video, and if you are new here, hello, my name is Choua, and in this video we are going to be talking about my Project Pan finale. I can't believe it's already the end of the year and it's time to close up a Project Pan and think about what I want to bring into the 2026 Project Pan. I'm really excited but also kind of sad that this is already ending, because for some of these products I feel like I would have finished them if I didn't, get sick throughout the month. But because I got sick and I just didn't have the energy to put on makeup, that kind of, contributed to not being able to finish some products, which is fine. Life is gonna life. But it's kind of a bummer, but at the same time, it's like I'm so close to finishing some of these products that if I do decide to roll it into my Project Pan for next year or just organically use it up, I should be okay with it, or like it should be okay, I should say, just because there's just so little amount of the product and everything. I don't know what products I'm going to be rolling into my 2026 Project Pan yet, and when we do get to that point, I will explain a little bit more on what I'm going to do differently. As of right now, I just want y'all to be here and just see the progress that I have made in my first year of Project Panning ever. So let's get to it. I'm gonna talk about the products that I rolled in the last time first. So at the beginning of quarter 3, first one is a lip mask. This one is by CosRX, and y'all, this one I tried really hard to finish, but I still have a lot of product to use up. This is probably gonna take maybe a good 4 months, maybe, just depending, because there's a lot of product that is on the walls of this container and I didn't realize how thick it was and everything. This is still not my favorite product to use, but I'm still using it whenever I'm working and I just need to hydrate the lips. I put this on. When I use it as a lip sleeping mask, it doesn't hydrate my lips all night, and when I wake up my lips feel really dry. So I use this mainly as a daytime mask slash lip balm. We didn't finish this even though that was the goal. This product is going to most likely stay in the living room where I do my work most of the time, just so that I can use this up, especially on days that I'm not wearing a whole lot of lip products and everything. I thought 1/4 was gonna be enough to finish this up, but apparently not. But I think it's also because I prefer my Laneige lip mask, and then also I have a lip balm on my vanity that I prefer to use to prep my lips for makeup. So that's probably why. Another product that we rolled in at the beginning of quarter 4 is my Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless Foundation in 220 Natural Beige. And the goal was to use up at least half of the bottle by the end of the year. And we almost got there. I feel like if I, again, was not sick and I had those days to really put on some makeup, especially foundation, I think I would have reached the goal, but I can't help it, which, it's fine. I just gotta accept it. At this point, I just have to accept it, you know what I mean? But anyways, we used up probably a third of the bottle already. And so I'm hoping to really try to finish this up next year. I feel like we can. This is a foundation that I learned that I really like. It's what I have on the face right now. I really like this foundation, even though it's a matte and poreless formula. I thought it would look too dry on me, but do you see this? I look so covered up, no flaws, no pimples or imperfections peeping out, not peeking out. And this is a really good liquid foundation to use with stick foundations and tinted balms. So I really like this. Next year is definitely going to be a year where I'm going to try to use this all up. Another complexion product that has been entered and I felt like I could have finished this is my AOA concealer stick in light ivory. This was so close to being done. Oh my freaking gosh. I am so mad that we have just this much left to use up. But then again, I don't think I would have been able to finish this up even if I did wear makeup on the days I was sick, because there's still just so much product. And I use this mainly to spot correct and prime the eyes. So we have this much left. I feel like if I just dedicate another month or so to this product, I will have it finished. But you know what? That is a 2026 problem. That's for a future Choua to worry about. But I am so glad that we only have that much left. Even though the goal was to finish it, we only have like, what, half an inch left of the product to use up, if at that. I don't think I need to enter into a project just because I already organically reach for it and use it up anyways. So hopefully I can get that finished up in the first quarter of 2026. Next is a bronzer. This is my Ciate bronzer. The goal was to just really get the embossing faded and gone and disappeared. And if, you know, I accomplished that goal, the other secondary goal was to hit pan. And I'm happy to say that we have done both. We have really just used the heck out of this bronzer. This is a really nice bronzer, especially in the winter time. I really like this to really just put it all over the face. I was not expecting to have such a big pan in this bronzer, but I am so glad that I did. I thought this was gonna take forever to hit pan, but once the embossing kind of disappeared and I used this with a really big fluffy brush, it didn't take too much time afterwards to really hit pan. Some of these products I did keep count to see how many times I used it, and the Ciate bronzer, I used it 31 times. I hit pan on November 24th with 22 uses, so I'm pretty happy with that. This is going to continue to be a winter bronzer for me. Hopefully we can expand the pan a little bit more before the end of the year, but I'm just so glad to be able to hit my goals. Oh, also the AOA concealer, I used it 43 times. So yeah, I did use the heck out of that one. And the lip mask, I used it 48 times. And the last product that I entered at the beginning of quarter 4 is my Essence Pure Nude Highlighter in Be My Highlight. The goal for this highlighter was to hit pan, and I had no idea why I set that goal because there is no pan that I have hit. Like, not even close. I have used the heck out of this, by the way. And there's still no pan on it. Maybe there's a little bit of flattening because this is a baked product. I'm not going to be able to see the pan very well, but there's a little bit of flattening on top of the dome, but there is no hitting the pan or anything. I think this product is going to take a long time to finally hit pan. For the highlighter, I used it 41 times. There's been a couple of days that I did use different highlighters depending on the look, but for the most part, I used this Essence highlighter as my main highlight. Moving on to the products that were rolled in at the beginning of quarter 3. So at the beginning of July, I rolled in 5 products, and one of them was my Tarte Shape Tape Glow Wand in a light. And I think last time I talked about how I depotted it into one of my Laneige water sleeping masks, and I have used it all up. Look at that empty, satisfying container. This is the original packaging. This is how it looks like, and the doe foot came off. So I had to depot it. I finished the Glow Wand on November 6th with 6 additional uses. It didn't take me long to finish it in quarter 4. The next one is my Wonder Beauty Double Day Eyeshadow Duo. The goal for this changed. So when I first rolled this in, the goal was to hit pan, I think. No, the goal was to finish this duo, which is pretty crazy. And I realized that it was really unrealistic. So I decided to change the goal and just try to hit pan in both the cream and the shimmer side, and I did not meet that goal, unfortunately. The objective for quarter 4 was to hit 15 uses on each shade, and I also did not meet the objective, which is fine. I'm not going to punish myself and, you know, worry about it. For the shimmer, I used it 12 times in quarter 4. I almost reached that goal. If I just reached for it 3 more times, I probably could have reached that goal regardless of whether or not I hit pan or not. But at the same time, I didn't want to force myself to use this duo on days that I didn't want to, you know what I mean? And then for the cream, as you can tell, I almost hit pan. You can see the little ring at the bottom. So if I did use this a couple more times, I probably would have hit a pan, like a small one. But then again, did not want to force myself to use something that I was not really vibing with on those days. For the cream, I used it 9 times. So I used the cream side a little bit less than the shimmer side. I did use the shimmer side more as like a inner corner or like a little eyeshadow topper on top of other things. So that's probably why I got a little bit more use out of it, which is perfectly okay for me. This cream shadow is a beautiful shadow to put on the lids for when I need to go into the office. It creates a very beautiful brown professional eye look. And so I'm not too mad that I didn't hit the goal for this product. All right, next is a lip product. I rolled this Pink Lips lip gloss in a glow in with the goal to finish it. I almost finished it. I have literally just a little bit left at the bottom, and I did take out the stopper the week I got sick because I was really hoping to finish this up, but then I got sick, and so that's why I didn't use it. I'm gonna try my very best to use up as much of this gloss as possible. It's not my favorite gloss, so I don't necessarily reach for it unless I'm trying to meet a goal with this. If I just dedicate the rest of December and use this as my main lip gloss, I may be able to finish this. Otherwise, I'm going to just call it an empty because it's not my favorite gloss. I don't reach for it unless I need to use something that is really in a project pan. Yeah, that's all I have to say about it. I decided to take out the stopper just to see how much more product I can get out of it. But it's gloopy and it's very messy to use as well. So I'm gonna just try to get as much use as I can for the rest of the year and then call it good, call it an empty. Another product is a lip product, and this is my Mellow Lip Liner in Rose. The goal for this lip liner was to finish it by the end of the year, and as you can tell, I have a lot of products still. And I think it's mainly because as you know, we hit the fall and winter seasons, I just haven't really been reaching for this lip liner as much because this one is a little bit more of like a springy summer kind of shade. And so I did use this, but I didn't use it enough to really finish it, which is fine. I feel like I could still finish this next year if I really just put my mind to it, especially when we get into the warmer seasons again. So I'm not too mad about it. I just wanted to see how much I can get done, and the goal was to finish it if possible. But now that I know that I still have a lot of product to go, this is probably gonna be rolled into like a different project in the next year. And the other product is another lip liner, and this is my Bodyography Timber Lip Pencil. This one was so close to be finished, and I am kind of annoyed that it's not finished yet. I just really want to finish this, but at the same time, I'm kind of happy that I didn't finish this because I do really enjoy this lip liner. And so I would try to use this for the remainder of 2025, but if it rolls into another project next year, I'm perfectly fine with it because I am super duper close to really finishing this up, and I'm just really happy that I used the heck out of this lip liner. Next are the products that I rolled in at the beginning of Q2, so April. I rolled in 3 products, and the first one I rolled in was the Benefit Professional Primer, and we have officially, I have officially finished this primer. I could cut it open and like scrape the last remaining parts of it to really finish it off, but I'm not gonna do that. Honestly, this primer is already so old. I didn't think I would keep a primer in my collection for that long because I do use primers pretty often, especially if the primers came in my makeup subscription boxes. I tend to use them up pretty quickly, but this one I just did not reach for quite a while until this year. So I'm just really glad that I'm able to finish this primer. It did take such a long time, but I'm so glad that it's done with. and it's gone. And I don't need to roll this into the new year with me. It's just so satisfying to me when I finish a squeezy tube kind of primer. I don't know why. I think it's just because of the progress that you see, you know, the flatness of the packaging. I just really like it. So satisfying. And I tried to use this today and I could not get any of the product out. Like legit could not get anything out. Like I would like squeeze it out like this and then also try to like bend it like this and squeeze it out, you know, nothing. Next is another empty, and this is the L'Oreal Infallible Foundation in the shade 455, and I have used this all of, oh my goodness, I was really sad when I had only 1 or 2 more uses of this foundation. You can't really see because there's a lot of foundation that's still clung onto like the packaging, but I did pop open the lid and I did empty it into my Laneige sleeping mask here, and I was able to get an additional 3 to 5 uses from whatever else was in here. I do miss this foundation. I do like the finish and the longevity and everything. I cannot believe that I finished this foundation already. This is a really good foundation. Really sad to see it go, but also very satisfied that I have finished another foundation. And then the third product that I rolled in at the beginning of Q2 is my Sweet and Shimmer black liner. This liner was to replace the Hollywood and Vine black liner because that one was drying out, if you recall. This one was rolled in to replace that because this one is a little bit creamier. It's more functional for me and I don't have to tug at my eye. And so the goal for this one was to use up 75% of the product, and I did not reach that goal, unfortunately. But then again, with this project pan, I have learned that eyeliners take forever to use because you only need a little bit, unless you're like really trying to draw it on and like have raccoon eyes or whatever, but you only need a little bit of this, and so this took forever to use. However, even though I didn't reach the goal for this liner, I still used a pretty big chunk of this liner in Q4, so I'm really happy about that. I still thoroughly enjoy this. I really like it still. It's a really good liner to smudge and really use with other eyeshadows. This liner, the objective for Q4 was to use it 30 times and I used it 16 times. So I didn't hit the objective, unfortunately, but I did use about half that amount. So I'm not too mad about it. I just feel like because I have been going to the office a lot, I reached for my brown liner a little bit more just because it's a little bit more subtle, it's a little bit more appropriate. Yeah, other than that, even though I didn't hit the goal or the objective for this product, I'm still happy to be able to make that much progress within the year, and I'm just happy to put it back into my collection and see where it goes. Moving on to the products that were entered at the very beginning of this project. The first product we're gonna talk about is my Wonder Beauty Trip for Two Blush and Bronzer Duo, and here is the final result of this palette. I have officially finished the bronzer. I actually really missed the bronzer, not going to lie. I felt like it was a really nice, neutral, almost cool toned kind of bronzer that worked with every look. So I was really sad that it was gone, but you know what? I now know that it's a shade of bronzer that I really like, so I'm not complaining there. With the blush, however, I did repress this after a while using it just because I wanted to really just use my brush without damaging my brush because I didn't want to just scrape the edges and everything. So I did repress it and it's very thin now. I don't know if you can tell, but it's very thin. I felt like if I just dedicated a few more months with this blush, I probably could have finished it. So like I was thinking back of like at the very beginning when I rolled in this palette and my Tarte blush, I felt like if I didn't roll in my Tarte blush, and I only had this blush and this project pan to focus on, I probably would have finished it. But because I had another bronzer and another blush to work on at the beginning of this project, I didn't focus on this one too much until I rolled that Tarte blush out, if you recall. So that's probably why I still have so much of this blush left to use up. But you know what? I'm not mad. I'm not mad because it's still just a little bit of product left. It's not like a whole entire pan. For me to get this far in a project pan and almost finish a blush, I feel pretty accomplished because I did not know that about myself. You know what I mean? So being able to almost finish a blush within a year, yeah. Next is my liquid highlighter from Grand Glow. This is the Plumping Liquid Highlighter in French Pearl. I depotted this into a small container and this is how it looks like. I am going to call this good. I don't know, I probably could get maybe 2 to 3 more uses out of this before I have to call it good because it is drying out a lot. It's really hard for me to pat it and like really blend it in. The product itself doesn't work as well anymore because it's drying up, which is to be expected from depotting it from the original packaging. So I'm gonna call this an empty because I know if I just use this up in the next couple of days, this will be gone. So I'm gonna call this an empty. I do really like this highlight, but I'm just glad to be able to use it all up and just get it out of my collection because this is a plumping liquid highlighter, which I don't understand why it's plumping because I don't necessarily need my cheekbones to plump or like my nose to plump. Maybe my Cupid's bow to like give me a little bit of a lift on the top lip. But I don't understand why it's plumping. Because of the plumping like additives in here, I can't use it as an inner corner highlight, you know, or I can't use it on the eyes because I'm not about to put this on my eyes and like learn the hard way. So I only kept it to like the areas of my face that I know that I'm fine with the plumping effect. But you know what? It's all good. I finished it and I'm just gonna call it good. You know, I'm not gonna complain too much about it because I did use it all up. I did like it as a highlight. And yeah. Next is my Arches and Halos eyeshadow duo. Not eyeshadow duo. What am I saying? Eyebrow duo in dark brown. The goal for this was to finish the lighter shade in this duo by the end of the year. And I think I was a little delusional when I set that goal because there's still so much product left in this duo. Like, are you crazy, Choua? Like, what the heck? I think I was just a little bit too delusional and I thought I could finish it, but definitely did not. I did expand the pan and I did, you know, create a really, really good dip in this product. So I'm really, really happy about that. And I was trying to focus a little bit more like towards the edges so that way I can like really track my progress a little bit better than just like focusing on the center part of the powder. So that's what I was trying to do. But oh my gosh, like to finish this by the end of the year, I was crazy to think that I could do that. So this is probably the most embarrassing product I'm gonna be talking about because I neglected this one this quarter. This is my Naked Cosmetics Loose Pigment in Desert Sunset. The goal was to finish half of this container. I have spent a whole year trying to even use just at least a gram of this product, and it's a very slow moving product, let's just put it that way. The objective for quarter 4 was to use it 25 times. I reached for this 2 times. I know it's pretty embarrassing to talk about. I think I got to a point where it just was not a pigment that I wanted to reach for during this time of year. I could have used this and used it on the nails a little bit more and all of that, but I just didn't want to. So I'm a bit embarrassed to not even come close to hitting the objective or the goal. But you know what? It is what it is. This product is going to go back into my collection. I don't think I'm going to put it into a project for a long while. Yeah, I think I've learned to not include loose pigments into these kinds of projects. especially if there's still so much of the product left, because oh my goodness, it was one of the most discouraging products that I have entered into this project. I can't really see the progress, and when I did weigh it, the weight wasn't reliable, even though I've used the product a lot this whole year and everything. So I learned from my mistake. If you do want to work on a loose pigment, maybe put it in a more like short-term project and not a long-term project. Unless it's a loose pigment that you know you're going to be reaching for a lot, I would say rethink it. Maybe sit on that decision a little bit longer before you enter into a long-term project like I did. Next is my brown liner. This is the Appeal Gel Liner in Deep Taupe. The goal of this liner was to finish it by the end of this year, and I have not reached that goal, obviously. In quarter 4, I was able to use this 17 times, which I'm not mad about, you know? Like, I feel like I was able to use this quite a lot as a wing liner, in the waterline, on the upper lash line, and everything. So I'm not too mad about that. I still really like this. It still performs really, really well. I think it's going to take another year to finish this. I don't know if I'm gonna roll it into another project or whatnot, because I do have other liners that I do want to work on. So who knows? But I'm just glad to be able to get some progress on this liner, even though I did not meet the goal. This next product, I did meet the goal, and I'm so proud of myself. And it is my Phase Zero, the Necessities palette. The goal was to hit pan on the last 2 shimmers, and I did that. And I also repressed the brown shades. This is gonna go back into my collection. I probably will still reach for this, especially on days that I need a quick makeup look for work and I don't really want to think about it. This is the palette to go to. I will still continue to use this palette. I don't know about finishing every single shade, but definitely some of these shades I feel like I can still use up, especially the matte shades. All of the matte shades I feel like I can use up. And maybe some of these shimmers I can use up as well, especially these 2 bottom shimmers. They just look stunning on the eyes. Not too dramatic. It gives me enough oomph on the eyes to like still look glam, but like professional at the same time. I totally forgot about my Jaclyn Hill palettes. How could I forget? The first one is my Jaclyn Hill palette, the original one. And the goal is to use all of these shades at least one time, which we did. I completed this quad right here, this little corner, today. That's my eye look. I don't know if you can tell. I don't know if this is my best work, but it's looking very oceanic. It's looking very mermaidy, very aquamarine, you know, all that. Anyways, the goal was to hit pan in 24/7, which is this brown shimmer, and then hunts. And I put an objective on these 2 to really not challenge myself, but like keep myself accountable to do it. And let's just say I did not meet that goal. The objective for both of these shades were 30 uses, and for 24/7, which is this shade here, I used it 4 times. I know. It's so embarrassing of me to say that out loud, but yeah, I used it 4 times. And then for hunts, I used it 7 times. But you know what? It's okay. We hit pan in 3, and I also finished 1 of them. I'm gonna give myself grace once again and just be done. And then next is the Jaclyn Hill 2 palette. The goal was to hit pan in Get Ready With Me and Grateful, and then hopefully Living My Best. This one was the one that had more pans that we had to focus on, but we did reach for all of these shades in this palette at least one time in quarter 4, so I'm really, really proud about that. So for Get Ready With Me, which is this beautiful shimmer, the goal is to use it 15 times in quarter 4, and I used it 11 times. So did not hit the objective, but I have hit pan in this one. And it's kind of a small pan, not kind of, it's a small pan, but I'm still pretty proud of it. I hit pan on October 20th with 9 uses. I'm pretty proud of myself. As soon as I hit pan, I was so proud of myself. I was like, oh my goodness, yes, 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 yes. But even then, I used it after I hit pan. So it's a beautiful shade, but I do really need a break from that shade. I want to play with other more neutral looking shimmers from other palettes. Next is the shade Grateful, which is below Get Ready With Me. The goal was to use it 25 times, and I have used it 14 times. A little bit more than 10 uses still left, but you know what? It is what it is, because I have hit pan and this one too. This pan is a lot smaller than Get Ready With Me, but it is still a pan nonetheless, so I'm still going to celebrate that accomplishment. I have hit pan on December 17th with 14 uses. So the last time I used it, I have hit pan, and I'm just glad, because from what I've learned using these shades, I don't know if it's because they're older now or this is just the nature of Morphe's eyeshadow formulas, but they take forever to pan. Like, oh my gosh, I never thought I would be able to see the end of it, but I am so happy that I was able to hit pan, even though it took this long too. And lastly is the shade Living My Best. This is the red shade, and the objective was to use it 15 times, and I only used it 4 times. What I learned from this shade is that I don't really reach for reds when it comes to eyeshadows. It was a really hard color to really incorporate in more like neutral looking looks. It had to be more like pinky, purple, dramatic eye looks for me to reach for this shade. So that's why it was really hard to reach for this shade, and I only got 4 uses out of it. And of course, I did not hit pan. But you know what? That's fine. I reached 4 out of 5 shades in this palette. I'm gonna call it good. I'm pretty proud of myself. I know what shades in this palette I reach for organically and I prefer and everything, versus the ones that were my focus shades, like Living My Best. I don't think I would reach for this unless an occasion calls for it, and that's fine. Next is my Half Caked lip fondant in a theme song. This one I used as a liquid blush, and I did hit the objective, which is 30 uses. I'm gonna call this good, like as an empty, because once I hit 30 uses on this product, the blendability was not the same anymore. It was harder to blend on the cheeks. Obviously, it's not an actual blush product, so I do have to remember that. But then again, like, it blended on the cheeks quite well until I went above and beyond the 30 uses. And it just needed a little bit more like effort and work to really blend out. And I feel pretty proud that I was able to use this as a liquid blush the entire year. There is some windowing in this product, and so I'm pretty glad about that. I'm not gonna take the stopper out of this product to use up the rest of the product, just because I know that is gonna get really, really messy, and I do not need that kind of mess in my collection. However, I am going to keep this in for the remainder of the year. I love the color, but the performance is just not the greatest anymore, and I don't want to keep something in my collection if it's not going to perform the way it should. You know what I mean? If it's still serving, it will stay. If it's not, it's gonna go. That's all I have to say about this product. Next is my Bite Beauty lipstick in the shade Beetroot. The goal for this lipstick was to use half of it, and oh my gosh, I feel like this lipstick grows overnight. I don't know how to explain it. I feel like I've used the heck out of this. I used this on the lips. I've also used it on the cheeks, and I thought I would get more progress, but no. In the progress photos, there is not a whole lot of progress, which is freaking crazy because I used the crap out of this during the fall and winter times, and the progress is not the greatest. Like, I don't know what to do with this lipstick anymore, but I am definitely gonna need a break from this because this product pisses me off. Like, I love it on the lips, I love it on the cheeks, but the progress itself, I just get so irritated when I look at the progress. And yeah, I'm not gonna do that to myself next year. To make up for the lack of progress from the Bite Beauty lipstick, I have finished my Persona E-Balm in Manifest. Oh my gosh, it was freaking crazy when I finished it. I'm like, just keep going, just keep adding it and everything, and it is officially done. I could dig out the product and use the rest of that too, but I'm not going to because number one, it's not my favorite. It's a little bit too slippery and slidey for me to really use it as that. So what I do is I would saturate it on my lips, let it sit for like a few seconds or so, and then pat it down. And I would use it as like my red lip stain, and then I would go over it with like a lip oil or a different lip product, like a lipstick or something, to keep that redness like as the like color underneath and everything. I felt like I used this quite enough, used it to the very brim of the product to really get it done. I'm so happy to at least get one of my lip products in this project done. Lip products are crazy, like they take forever to use up, and I would have not really known that if I didn't do this project. So I'm grateful for that. And the last product, which is a non-makeup product, this is my Lacuna makeup remover. I did keep this in just so that I could finish the rest of this by the end of the year, and y'all, I made a little bit of progress. Not a whole lot, just a little bit. But you know what? I'm not gonna complain about it because I have been keeping this on the table where I do my makeup and everything, and I've just been using it to like really wipe my swatches or like clean up some areas on my face when there's fallouts and all of that. So I think I'm just gonna keep it for that purpose. I'm not gonna force myself to finish it all up. But yeah, anyways, that is it for today's video. Let me know what you think about this project pan finale. Do you think I did a good job in my first year of project panning ever? Let me know in the comments below. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!